Right there, huh?
Perfect.
Is that good?
Perfect.
Okay. Well, it all started out, I was sitting in the classroom, La Jolla High School. Somebody came into the classroom and they said, they want you at the principal's office. So I go to the principal's office and he says, your father called and he says he needs you on a job and he asked if he could have you for a while. So we're letting you out of class to go help your father. Well, I walked out of class, I walked out on Nautilus Street, and there was a 36 Ford with a bunch of surfboards sticking out of it. So anyway, I said, I thought I got called for my dad, and so this Townie Cromwell, he faked my dad's Swedish accent. He said, yeah, I need Yaki home and help on a job. So anyway, we got in the car, we went to Pacific Beach, and it was huge. And I thought the first wave I didn't take. I could see from the backside I should have. So the next one, I said, I'm not going to be cheated out of this one. It wiped me out. So I was, and no, you know, in those days we didn't have wetsuits and leashes. So it was a long swim, and by the time I got in, I was really tired. So then we drove up to La Jolla Cove, and then coming around the corner there, I mean, big walls. So let's go. So we go over to La Jolla Shores and we paddle out there. There's Eisenhower, Cromwell, and Hull, and a few other guys. And so I get out there and I said, I'm not going to paddle back to the shores. I'm going to ride into La Jolla Cove. Well, it was so big that the backwash on them was like sitting in the bleachers, you know, at a football game. So but I tried. And I got in there and I stood up and I lost my balance, and instead of going right, I went left, right in front of the hole at La Jolla Cove. The hole is a little indentation just beyond the east end. But I got in there and I pushed through some big waves, and then some big sets started coming. So I just let go of the board, and then two lifeguards, Jim Gilmore and Bob Barber, they come around with a hose and a reel, you know, a rope on a reel. And I'm looking up at them, and this is one thing Bob Barber asked me, what were you thinking when you were down there? And I said, well, I guess I'm going to die a virgin. So anyway, I got, I looked over there and I could see the reef coming up on me. So all I did when the monster went over my head, I went into a ball. And when I felt the energy out of the water, I stood up and I was in water this deep on the reef. And some fisherman had carved notches in the cliff there to get down there so he could fish at low tide. So I just went up those steps, and when I got up there, they made me carry the roll of rope back to the shack, the tower. But I was back to the shack. It was La Jolla Cove, and it's down underneath the station there. But I got into that lifeguard station, and I looked out the window, and a big set was coming. And honest, it's just like you felt like you had to get out of there and run. And Scripps called it 33 to 35 that day, so that was pretty big. But I'm just glad to be here. And thank you all for...
Still a virgin?
Almost. Thanks for the question. Goodbye. Well, that's about it. So glad to be here with you all. Thank you.
Yeah! Yeah! There's more stories.
I added more to the story this time with Cromwell involved.
There's more stories. Wait a minute, Woody. Come on up to the board.
What year was that, Woody?
That was February 17th, 1947. And the biggest part of the board was about that big, and they hung it on the lifeguard shack wall.
And how old were you?
About 19. Oh, another side story. The next day I had a heart murmur. And I went back to Dr. Chalmers, and he checked me over, and he says, you just keep taking it easy like you have been.
Okay, give me a couple minutes to get organized here and we'll